One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Oh, that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back.
Why can't every day be like this? No Simple Road. Yeah, no, I've been on that road too.
There is a road, no simple highway between the dawn and the dark of night. And if you go, no one may follow. That path is for your steps alone.
Be all willy-nilly with my water. Touch my water, boy. I'll slap that blonde out your hair.
Wow.
My water boy.
Wow.
Hey now, No Simple Road family, what's happening?
Aaron's being all willy-nilly with it and shit.
Willy Willy.
Willy Willy. No,
Willy
willy-nilly.
nilly.
It's different than Willy Willy. Mel's got the casitas.
So as you can tell now, we are back this week.
Yeah. We're not
Yes,
sick
we
anymore.
are.
We are back with another edition of the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind, brought to you in collaboration with Melt Premium Mushroom Chocolates. Everybody.
Yummy.
Listen, here's the thing. We all need a little help with our consciousness, our-ness of ourselves now and then.
Our mental help, our help.
Sometimes you just want to have fun too. And one of the ways
And
you can,
also you want to be healthy.
true. And one of the ways you could do that is by consuming Melt Premium Mushroom Chocolates premium blend of mushrooms and other fun stuff that's in their chocolate.
That's right.
And the way
Other
that,
fun guys.
yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah,
That was
see?
good.
That's funny.
It'll make you melt.
That's fungi.
It's true. And the reason that they named it Melt, because they want it to melt away your cares and worries. You know, the world that we live in today is very strange. And the best thing that we can do now is to know ourselves. And one way to do that is to take a little microdose and learn about who you are and how you deal with the world. It will help you with anxiety. So I've heard, nobody here is a medical professional, but I've heard tell that it can help with anxiety. It can help people get off Adderall. It can help you concentrate.
PTSD.
And it's very relaxing. So somebody who's like has anxiety and it helps you to relax, that's an invaluable
Yep.
thing.
Every bar has their premium mushroom blend in it and then added lion's mane. It is all top shelf bomb chocolate. There is
10 delicious flavors. Like,
yeah, 10 flavors. So here's the deal. What you're going to do is you're going to go to Instagram and you're going to follow Melt Mushrooms and you're going to DM them and say, hey, Melt Mushrooms, My name is so and such, and I am sent here by No Simple Road, and they are going to give you $20 off your first bar.
Woo.
It's just like that.
a
They'll
great
send
deal.
you their menu is the word I'm looking for, and
You found it.
you will have some amazing family created mushroom chocolate for yourself. So thank you to Melt for
Thank you, Melt.
sponsoring
Thank you, Melt.
this episode of No Simple Road Weekly Rewind. And yeah, that's that.
Yeah. So yeah, and
We're back.
This is
everybody.
Apple.
And Mel,
And me, and we're back. And
me.
we were sick last week. If you didn't listen to the East Nash Grass episode, you don't know why we weren't here last week. Well, the reason was Mel and I were literally laid up.
We were laid out.
So we were laid up, laid out, and couldn't lift a finger to do a damn thing. Both had
That's true.
fevers and chills and aches, and yeah, it wasn't any fun. But we're back, and
And doing better.
yeah, I feel great today. Actually, today was the very first day I was like, oh, I'm 100% back to myself.
Yeah, I'm still getting there. I think that today was definitely much more than yesterday, but I'm still, my head's far away.
Still, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. I had a very engaging kind of a morning today.
Yeah.
I did a lot of running around. I was with Sean and went and met a new friend and for coffee. And yeah, it's been a busy morning. And then I had to rush home we just did an interview with Christian Lopez. If you aren't familiar with his music and him, you should go check it out before we release the episode so you're not
Yeah.
blindsided with this amazing human being that we just talked to. It'll be coming out in a couple of weeks. But yeah, and it brings me to what I wanted to talk about today, actually. We were just discussing with Christian about being yourself, being a superpower. And that seems like it should be a given, right? Like, oh, I'm me. Why would that be a superpower? But I think that in the way things are now, we're conditioned in such a way that when we're coming up, we take pieces of other people's personalities and things we see on TV and different weird stuff
Influences,
sticks
like-
to us, and we can lose who we are in the process. And part of growing up is finding out who you are as a human being, what you like, what you don't like, where your talents lie, what your passions are, what makes you angry, what makes you happy. And when I say each of those things, it's not like, let's just take what makes you happy, right? What makes me happy could mean a lot of different things. What makes me happy could mean something that I do that I know makes Mel feel happy, so it makes me happy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, it makes me happy to do this thing because I know that it looks good. And everything that we feel and do can be like that, right?
Yeah.
And getting to know who we are as a human being on this planet, like, what do I like apart from everybody else's influence? What's my thing that I like, or things? What makes me happy apart from everybody else? What's the things that makes Aaron happy? And that's a difficult road. Some would say it's not simple
Well, it's a difficult road.
to
Wow.
find all that stuff out.
What are you going to do with that information when you get there?
What do you mean?
Like, what are you finding all that out for?
To be unapologetically who you are.
So you think you have to know that in order to act that?
100%. You can't embody something you don't know. if all you are and do is a conglomeration of outside influence, right?
I don't think all we are is can be whittled down to just one thing.
There's a lot of people running around out there that have never mined any part of who they are. They're running on autopilot. And we see it on, look, you and I like to sit and watch trash TV once in a while. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just making an observation. Some of the folks that we've seen on that, there's nobody home. It's a puppet almost, a stuffed shirt. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. But even still, those people have, you know, I don't know where I was going with it. So I don't want to beat a dead horse.
I think what you're saying is very prevalent in our society to try to mimic other people that have become famous or something.
Yeah.
Especially with like social media and like the way people act on like some of those trash TV like dating shows.
Yeah.
Like you're going to fall in love with somebody within 2 minutes of meeting them and be, the world we live in. Yeah. What Aaron's talking about, I get it. That's out there a lot where the people aren't being themselves. They're trying to be something they've seen because they think that's the road to obtain success or something.
Well, or acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so for you, Mel, like, what are some of the obstacles that you've run into in like getting to know who you are? Like when the reason I'm bringing this up is like when we went to go see Cheese a couple of weeks ago, I had an experience where like
yeah, you go first. So
I really felt like I stepped into who I am more. I've known that part of myself for a long time, but never like fully embodied it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was
Yeah.
the first time I was like unapologetic about it. And this is who I am. And it's okay. And it was it was extremely liberating. Like, and it stuck. I still feel like that. Like I don't.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it happen. I saw your enlightenment. There's like a wonder that happens in people's eyes when they see something amazing. Like if you watch somebody when they're watching like a guitar solo or something, that face that they make that's like awe. That definitely happened to you.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't any like huge realization. It was more of a feeling of like, I'm okay. It's something as simple as that. And like who I am is okay. And it's cool. And
be it.
And do it. And don't like hold it back. Don't give everybody 70%.
So what was your barriers to that? Because you were asking me, but you kind of already started. So like that realization, what was your barrier to having that maybe 10 days prior or, 5 days prior?
I think for me, it was a lack of self-confidence and stemming from being the youngest of 4 older brothers that continually picked on me and took an impressionable little kid brain and told that little kid that he was a dumbass and he wasn't good enough and he wasn't good looking enough and that he wasn't smart enough and that he wasn't athletic enough and he wasn't crafty enough and it just all of it enough, not enough. And even if I intellectually understood that was wrong as I got older, the residual effect of that program was running in the background of my head.
Yeah, it's hard to undo.
Right. And so I would always like allow myself to run at 75%.
Mm.
Do you get what I mean by that?
I know
and
exactly
then hold
what you
back
mean by
that
that.
last 25 because I was scared that somebody was going to say, you're not good enough.
Mhm. You're waiting.
You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, you're waiting to get literally belittled.
Yeah. At 51 years old.
Programs are deep.
Still carrying that bullshit in the back of my head. But that night, just something happened. Something clicked. It was I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what the hell it was, but it clicked. And I was like, wait a minute. I can just do me. And holy shit.
So much easier. It's so much easier. It's easier to do you when you realize that.
Why was I holding back that 25?
Yeah. Like, oh, that was dumb.
So that self-confidence was really like the main.
1,000%. That's like, if the, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Detriment or holding back is a tree.
Mm-hmm.
That was the roots of it. Like buried deep in the ground.
A tree of detriment.
Yeah. It was like, you know,
Dang.
I could be good at stuff, but I couldn't be too good. Right?
Yeah.
You can't shine too bright or you're going to get slapped or picked on or.
And some people don't have that problem. Some people are really good at using their light to shine. Like, this is not everyone's problem. It's a common one for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not everyone's problem. There's people that love the spotlight and they take it well and they, look good in it. And then there's others that, have a hard time being in there in that spotlight.
I don't even like.
I mean your own.
Right.
I don't mean like,
take No Simple Road out of the equation, that we even have a podcast or any of that. Just the day-to-day living of being a human on planet Earth, allowing myself to be me and like what I like is cool for me. The food I like is fine for me. That music is my favorite music. It's okay. Nobody else needs to like it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And that's huge shit. That's
really huge. That's an epiphany.
Because I know for myself, I went through a lot of my life judging what I liked based on what other people liked. Right?
Yeah.
I think we all do that to some extent.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not cool, whatever cool means, So for me, it was all self-confidence based 100% of like not measuring up to, or not even not measuring up, not believing that I could be me 100%. And it just got me thinking, like, just meeting Christian, like the first thing that I noticed about him was that's him. Like you could feel it from him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's dope. And I think that is also what I was picking up on when I first met Luke. And I was like, I want that.
Yeah.
I want to feel like that when people to feel like that when they're around me.
Yeah.
And it's just him being him.
It's cool when you meet either a mentor or like somebody in your life that you look up to, because that's a rare thing. Like, I don't just meet a bunch of people that I look up to. I do happen to have a lot of people in my life that I absolutely adore and love. But when you want to like be mentored, or like you feel like they have something specific to teach you. That is a really special feeling.
Yeah, that's why there's a difference between your peers and a mentor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I don't.
It's hard though. Like everything that faces us right now is not everything. I take that back. That's a blanket statement. A lot of what we see around us is telling us the opposite. That we're, you're not thin enough. You're not rich enough. You're not this, that, the whatever. That's the basis of most marketing is reaching
Yeah,
into.
I was going to say it can even go deeper because you're talking about you're not good enough. They're wanting you to correct something.
Yeah, but the marketing reaches into one of those places and pushes the button.
Yeah.
To get you to like, oh, I'm going to sign up for the class
Gym membership
or the gym or whatever, buy the dress or I don't know. But like I asked in the beginning, for you, what are some of like the hurdles?
I mean, I think that I don't think a lot of what you were saying rings true for me. Just mine had a different source. Growing up, I was taught to not like what I looked like naturally because I always had to like straighten my hair and pluck my eyebrows and like just there was like a certain standard. I had to dress a certain way, look like a lady, like so there was just like these standards. So that's not what I look like when I roll out of bed. That's not what I look like naturally. Yet there you have to work to do that, to change what your natural inclination is to appear better. So there's always something that needs to be like fixed or altered. There's always something that could look better or feel better. And I definitely feel like that, like that's true. Like you could always, teeth could be sparkling a little bit, your brow, like just for your, there's always some measure that you can get to. And so for me, being out of, and I guess this is all more current stuff that I'm talking about now, except for what I was, growing up. Just recently, even though it's been a while since we've been in Vegas, which is 7 years now, and 7 years ago had a whole different career. Stuff of that still kind of like dying off in me, like there's a lot of that when you do something for so long that it starts to define who you are, and the things that compromise or compose of what your job is, you're into that and you're researching that and you do those things, you use those skills. And then when you're not doing that anymore, you don't use those skills anymore. There's lots of skills that make up a certain career set, and then you just don't use them anymore. Well, then that's using a part of yourself. Like that was a skill you just don't use anymore. So it's like putting asleep a part of yourself. And, flash forward, like I said, 7 years, it's something that I not only enjoyed, but like other people enjoyed. It was like a gift that I would share that I just stopped sharing. So all that to say is that I felt most like myself when I was doing those types of jobs, when I was connecting with people, when I was actually laying on my hands and stuff like that. And so since not doing it, I've had to kind of feel like a person that I'm not 100% in certain aspects. And so it's, you're talking about like being your complete self at String Cheese. There was a moment I felt very much myself, and we had just gotten our hats and we had all of our friends around us, and the music was so pure and beautiful, and like it just, everything was so right. And in that moment, it didn't matter of any of the stuff that I'm talking about, like about my old job or none of those things mattered. None of those things made me or didn't make me feel like myself. There was something in the moment that brought me to such a deep presence that I couldn't feel like anybody or anything else other than myself. And that made me realize what I'm talking about now. That tonight also was a catalyst, just in a different way. Like, it made me realize like that was a problem, or not even a problem, but that was an ache inside of me, I was feeling that, because I'm really good at putting things to bed. And then, if we don't talk about it for any good reason, it just kind of stays in there, stays kind of locked up. And to be honest, we haven't really like talked too much on the rewinds about stuff like this. Our topics are all over the place. It just hasn't come up. So yeah, this is kind of like new feelings. I'm still feeling these things. And I guess what are some obstacles? It's like, maybe not knowing what's going on underneath because you're covering it up. That's been an obstacle for me, being 100% myself. And, not feeling, 100% yourself can really just have effects on a lot of parts of your life, because it's hitting every part of your life. If you're not being yourself in one area, there's no such thing.
Yeah, it trickles down into everything.
Yeah. I just, a new Melanie has dawned since we've moved here, and she's not fully complete.
Are we ever?
No, but like, of course, if I was to die today, then yeah, of course I'm complete. Yeah.
You did it.
I did it.
Ta-da.
I'm not putting any other, like, I need to accomplish anything, task or anything like that. But, it's just like, I'm not ready to put the song out yet. So that means the song's not done.
Yeah. I get what you mean. And you made me think of something. I don't remember where I saw this, but there was like a guy that was talking about interviewing people in Europe. Mm-hmm. And he would say, "What do you do?" to the person in Europe. And they would be like, "Oh, I like to do pottery and kayak. I spend time with my family. I like to make jelly beans, cook." And then he was like, and then I came to the United States and was interviewing people, and I'd ask, "What do you do?" And they'd be like, "Oh, I work for IBM. I'm a truck driver. I'm a
whatever their
what they
job occupation was."
And in this country, we identify who we are so strongly with what we do for a living that those two things become inseparable in our usness.
For sure.
And we are not what we do for a living.
No, for sure. But there is something deeper about what I'm talking about, like my occupation. I'm not talking about the esthetician part, facials and waxing and things like that. I'm talking about, I know that that's part of what I'm here to do, is to whatever of sorts, lay on of hands, heal, counsel, therapize, whatever. That is what I'm here to do. I'm not here to, ring somebody's grocery bill up. Like, yes, I am, but like, I have a deep connection to what I was doing in the healing industry. And that's where I'm talking about, not necessarily, identifying with being an esthetician. Like, I feel like that's the least of it. It's what happens, what occurs during the transaction of me and the person. That's what I feel like part of what I'm here for.
Wouldn't the power or the ability to do that thing that you're talking about come from knowing who you are? Right?
Yeah, that's when I'm doing that, like you were like that, it's so, I want to even just say it's neutral, because it's
effortless.
It's so effortless. Exactly. There's a happening, but I'm not causing it or stopping it. That's
I get it.
I'm being in the happening with it.
Yeah, it's not like you're.
It's not my show.
Bringing
it's not,
groceries and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this and do.
Yeah, no.
It's much more. You're in your center.
Yeah, there's nothing to think or talk about or be myself about.
It just is.
It is.
Yep.
So that's the homecoming of that self, and you know, I've noticed. Yeah, there's just. We'll just leave it at that.
Well,
we'll leave it at that. My head is like trying to say so many things at once about this whole thing, and I've just been having a hard time lately about it. It's been not like I'm losing sleep or anything like that. Hard time about it is in the realizing of it and just the working it out. That's the hard time about it.
So in the middle of all of that is you, right? And whether you're doing that thing or not, you're still in there.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And feeling good about who you are shouldn't hinge on if you're doing that thing or not. It's there whether you're doing it or not. It is. It's
Yeah.
a thing that is alive in you right now.
Yeah, it's just not
And
even alive in me. It's a part of me. It's not separate.
It just is, right?
Mhm.
And so whether your hands are physically touching somebody else or not, that thing is still there
Oh yeah.
and happening.
It's manifesting
24/7.
in different ways.
Exactly.
And it has been. It's me being okay with how it's manifesting and being that new person. Like there's a huge transition. When I look back at myself or when I think about our old life, I'm like, who the hell were those people? Like,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's so different. Like, it's so vastly different. And then I don't have a problem with what the direction's going. I love what we're doing. I love what I do. I love our life is just so many good things. So many good things. And I thought about my life the same way back then. I saw it the exact same way. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
I remember.
I love my life. I love my kid, whatever. So this is not a foreign feeling for me, you know, like it is. I just every now and then people have hard times with accepting and having, this is your plate now. I know you liked this. This was your favorite over here, but now this is your new favorite.
Make work your new favorite.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm having a hard time about it a little bit. That's
Because you have, I do the same thing. I'll have my idea of what I think things should be like that are based on.
no, it's missing it. I miss it. It's not what I think it should be like. I miss it. Like I miss my mom or I miss Sydney and Jasper. I miss it like a person.
Right. And when
So it's not like I'm trying to recreate that here and now. I'm missing it in the way where I want to replace it. It's a person of its own thing and I fucking miss it.
and you outgrew it.
I did outgrow it in that version.
Yeah.
It's not gone. It's just mutated to a completely different form.
Yeah. It's
And
like,
that's,
it's
I'm
like
having
you
a
trying
hard
to-
time with what that means to me right now.
It's
in
like
my life.
trying to go back to the high school that you went to and just walk in and sit down at one of the desks.
Yeah, it's no.
No, you're however old you
don't
are.
Darn
even-
that person.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do that job that I used to do to that degree. I don't want that. It's something that, yeah, like, you know, like you, I don't know, a kid that passes away and you miss that kid.
I get
You're
it.
moved on, you're healthy about it, you've gotten through therapy, you're fine, and you still miss it.
Yeah. I understand that. Like, it's how it is with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've gotten through it. It's all good.
So that can affect me being myself sometimes because I'm dealing with things that are taking that ability to be very present. Like I have all these thoughts in my mind, and when it's like flaring up, when the missing is flaring up, I am not as present because my mind is occupied. So those feelings don't come as often. That really like in my body feeling it. Because when I'm in my body feeling, I'm not judgmental. I'm fine with how everything is. Like it's an inner knowing. So I don't have to convince anybody of it. And that day was a beautiful like sunrise, a little peek into that, and a reminder of how good it is when I'm in myself and in my power and out of my head and in my body.
Yeah. What about you, Apple?
But back to the top. What was the question again?
What's up, everybody? If you're like me and you're trying to do better for yourself and what you eat in this new year, I have something really cool for you. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make eating better every day way easier. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. You're going to have over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more. And there's even more to enjoy with over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. What are you waiting for? Sign up and save. They've done all the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. So here's what you got to do. Head to factormeals.com/NoSimpleRoad50 and use the code NoSimpleRoad50 to get 50% off your first box and 2 free wellness shots per box while subscription is active. That's code NoSimpleRoad50 at factormeals.com. Take all the guesswork out of trying to do the right thing for your body. Fuel up easy and fast. Go check out Factor.
The question is, what are some barriers that you have to being yourself? Aaron was saying that self-confidence was a huge one for him. And I was just saying, having all this going on in my head is hard for me to stay present. So it doesn't allow me to be myself like that, in that fullness. I'm not like lying about who I am. I'm just not fully embodied, and my mind and thoughts are kind of like keeping me from that.
Yeah. Well, which I just following on that too, I think you kind of both brushed over it. Like moving here from Las Vegas was the beginning of like the best like self-help, self-discovery workshop that could ever happen in my life. Moving up here back in Vegas, I never quite knew who I was in Vegas. It was an influence of growing up and friends and influences and places and things of there's so many reminders of past person and who that person was, and then like those expectations, and then acquaintances that you'd run into again, and like kind of leaving that behind and coming up here. One thing that really did, like Aaron was saying, a lot of people say one of their things is, who are you? And right off the top is like what your occupation is or anything. That actually did help me kind of discover who I was more when we moved here and I got into the cannabis industry. I had so many jobs in the past in Vegas, and from being a paralegal to my dad to being a cook to doing construction, it was always a job there. I was just doing a job that presented itself. So I think I was fortunate enough up here to get in the cannabis industry to realize that really has been a lifelong passion, and that industry was new, jumping into it right at the beginning. But then I got lost in that. I really, like the first year, as you guys know, it was like heaven. It was like, this is amazing. And I took like, that didn't matter moving up here to like take such a pay cut. I started back at like 12 something an hour in 2016, but it didn't matter because I was happy and I was doing something that I was finally in my life passionate about. and knew a lot about and enjoyed, like what was it, the Chubbawonga song, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to buy the world a toke. I've always been that person. Like if everybody could get stoned and not necessarily cannabis, but something that would make them feel good about themselves, it would be a better world. And now I'm able to do that. But then I did get lost along the way working where I did work for 5 years. It became a grind again, and I didn't feel that I was helping as much. And now, like coming to this year, I just always flash back, and the three of us talk about it quite a bit when we did the tarot reading at the beginning of the year. It was so poignant, and it's really happening the way it was laid out. This year has been a very like not a struggles, like it has been kind of a struggle to deal with all these changes and stuff. And then I got my surgery that I've talked about, fixing my hemorrhoid problem. That was a life changer. But then I started to lose myself again because I went into that. I went into that old apple from Vegas kind of lean into being lazy when I was healing. And then trying to find a job again was brutal. With what my experience in the cannabis industry and reaching out to so many people I knew and everybody struggling so much, it became very disheartening to where it's like, okay, I just need to get a job again. And then I count my blessings that what I'm doing now came along, because now it's allowed me, I'm really fallen into this thing as a brand ambassador. It really allows me to be myself, even more so than what I did before.
It's literally your job now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also allows me to be who I am. I'm very personable. I love being in the spotlight. I love talking to people. And now I am the first person you see when you walk into a dispensary, standing there with the booth set up, educating people and promoting a product I believe in. And it's really fun to do. I think you guys have commented. I mean, it's made me. I don't think, like you both said, you're ever 100%, because you're always a work in progress, and we all, life changes daily. Your outlook and your influences, personal and outside influences, affect that.
That's right.
And like it's like when we always ask, like those tough questions, like what's your favorite song? What's your favorite? Well, that changes like all the time with the moods and stuff like that. And I mean, I get that this has really been a big year of kind of rediscovery and getting rid of some, like, kind of house cleaning, getting rid of more of those things, like you were saying, Aaron, like carrying that stuff from childhood of being told that you were never doing anything right, and it made you question yourself because of outside influence,
or it would make you play it safe.
Yeah,
when you did know what you were doing, but you like half measure it so that there's no chance of screwing it up.
Yeah. And for me too, this is, I mean, kind of a silly thing, but this is very true. In when I was 27 and quit using needles and heavy drugs and everything, I felt that I changed my entire appearance, because that's what I felt I had to do. That was outside influence of like, you can't have long hair, and but that's always been me. I feel so comfortable with long hair, and I didn't start growing my hair back out until we'd been here a couple years. And that was always kind of, Aaron too, that was part of what makes me feel comfortable and myself. There's like power in that, of having long hair and our beards and stuff. I love it now. It's like on a personal appearance thing. I've also gotten to take that back and not carry with it that moniker of like, oh, that's what a druggie looks like and this and that and shit. It's like, that doesn't matter. That's a modern kind of
I mean, have you seen
put
the world?
On? Yeah. Well, yeah. And you look back through history and stuff and be like Jesus.
So barriers, that was a question. I mean, that was cool. Like last, 3-4 months, but Aaron was asking about the barriers to being yourself, even though there was some, like, what would you say?
The barriers is
Work
like
for you.
I've talked about in here is like the self-doubt thing. Not necessarily like low self-esteem or anything, but like doubting about the doubt about what you say and what you do. And that's the other thing along with moving up here is us leaning into the like doing the new No Simple Road podcast now has given us a voice that lets that inner person explore themselves more. Because of like what we're talking about right now, it makes you start digging down to find what those are. So those barriers are going away more, but I think that's human nature for there to be barriers because that's what makes you try and continue trying.
Yeah. If you see like a roadblock, you're like, investigate. Why? What's going on over there?
Yeah.
Or, do not enter. Why not? What's back behind these? We're curious by nature,
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, as far as barriers, it'd be the number one is self-doubt. And I dealt with that quite a bit this year, kind of resetting myself and quitting a job I wasn't happy with and then coming into a new line of everything. And it's just the way that that No Simple Road is going too. It just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
And the friend, like we always talk, the friends and family that has been built around us because of doing this is one of the most self-encouraging things that has happened with the podcast.
That's true.
That's a really
That's
We
good way
have
to put it.
so many people that care, that genuinely that we care about and that care about us, that we are all in a position where we are constantly helping each other now.
Yeah.
And it's
it really
amazing.
has become, what the No Simple Road family represents for me is like kind of like the phoenix, a new rising of what it is to be family and what that word means. When I was growing up, when I was little, I should say, I thought that having this Puerto Rican great big family with so many cousins and aunties and was such a cool thing, and I thought everybody was amazing, and I grew up and I started to see behind the curtain of family and all of that entails, cool stuff included, but not just. With the No Simple Road family, there's such a connection for people to want to share their triumphs and also share when they're going through a hard time. And I think that's some of the best family time that you can spend is when you're helping each other through something. You like sitting there and like I've never done it, but like sitting Shiva for somebody that passes, just being there with each other in a time of mourning or graduation, weddings and things like that. Like, I feel like those are like that kind of the pinnacles of what family are. And I feel that we get so fortunate that so many of the No Simple Road family dare to share their hardships, but also their triumphs. And it is such an energy giving group of people that I'm dumbfounded by it. Really,
what this show, what us and you out there listening, and what this is like curated is so special and amazing.
Yeah, because I remember like in times in family where they were like hard or kind of weird, like there's always some weird shit going on in families, and people tend to be quiet and not talk about it and act like it didn't happen, or like, look at you with that look and you better shut up, without saying anything kind of look. And so we keep these like secrets inside about ourselves and about our families and about how we feel. And we become so disconnected to ourselves and then scared to be ourselves because of what you were saying. And, like, I remember feeling that way, and my brother made me feel like that. My brother totally made me feel like I needed to dim my light. He constantly put down who I was and like just kind of, always made fun of me. And so it always felt silly to be who I was, and he didn't, I think he understood kind of spiritually that I had some kind of gift, but he always put it down and was like, why are you acting like that? Don't be like that with adults. Who do you think you are? You're just some kid. And so like, it was like this kind of mantra that made me constantly dim my light too, you know, my energetic light. And it sucks because like these are ghosts, but a ghost can still be scary even though they're see-through, and you can't like, you know, they're like, what are you doing here? Like kind of thing. Like, why is this ghost here if it's gone? And so even though these things are done and over and these memories are, you know, in the past, talking about them, I feel is instrumental sometimes to of let the ghost out of the closet.
And sometimes those ghosts can be misunderstood by your own perception of it. Because Apple. It just made me think of that. Like I used to think, me and my dad have a great relationship now and have for a long time, even before we left Vegas. But I always felt like I was never living up to his expectations. And since moving up here, I realized, because he says it now, like he always says, like the three of us and what we're doing is like the coolest thing ever. Like we're the cool kids and stuff. And I realized moving up here after a few years of getting into and being separated from Vegas and stuff, that all he ever was doing, he was always pushing me to do better because he wanted me to be happy. And I found that more than ever when we moved up here and started doing our own thing. And I've told him, it's like, I used to think you were hard on me, but it was just him like wanting to see me finally be happy. Kind of like you said with your dad, Aaron, like with the no simple rut, like you fucking thank God you finally figured
it out,
makes you happy and lets you be you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's what trips me out about the whole thing is that, like, talking about those ghosts and programming from when we're kids, we carry those stories with us. We're the ones carrying it.
Yeah, we're the ones with the torch on.
Yeah, like the people that said it have forgotten they said it, and the thing, whatever the thing is that happened to you, is long dead in the past, and we resurrect those things over and over again in ourselves to our detriment.
Yeah.
Right? And for what? When the opposite is so much easier, right? It's so much easier to let it go, but we just don't. And I'm talking about myself. Like that's not an indictment of anybody other than myself. Like I carry that shit with me for 50 plus years. I allowed that to live in me and put its poison in the soil. Right. And believed it. Believed it. And that's not fair. That's not fair to you guys, to the people listening. That's not fair to my family. That's not fair to the people I work with. That's not fair to the world. Because there's only one of me. Right? My light is completely unique from anybody else's. Yeah. And if I'm not shining as bright as possible, I'm doing a disservice to the world that I live in.
Yeah, to everyone and everything, and especially yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not fair. It's not fair to do that to me.
It's not fair. It's not fair to do that to me either. I don't mean you to me.
No, I know. I know exactly what you mean. It's not fair.
It isn't fair.
And it's not fair for you guys out there. And I know that trauma's deep.
Trauma's
right? I'm not
deep.
saying just forget about it, get over it, move on.
No, because I think some of the reasons, and then the reasons are infinite, but some of the reasons are like the way why we drag them around is because, like you said, they become a belief system. You believe this now. You don't think it was something to be discarded. It was something like, hot potato, like it's on you now, and then sometimes you, without a ton of self-inquiry, when are you going to have the time to even, bring this up?
Yeah.
Like if you're an average typical person that has a job and a family or someone that loves you or interests, there's not so much time, extra credit time for self-reflection. And by the time you get to these ghosts or these dented cans in the corner, they're dusty. They've been there for a while. They're unrecognizable sometimes. And you got to kind of peel away and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this photo album. Look at who's in here. You know?
Yeah.
I just think that really coming out of it or talking about it, talking about it brings light to something that was hidden, and you have a gnosis about it now. You have this new knowledge about it. The detriment part is keeping it under wraps even after it's been revealed, not doing anything about it. And I still even understand that, but that's where the power is in action. You know it, now there's something to act about. And when we do it, we feel good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
That's the best feeling.
Once we start acting on what we know to be right, it feels great. We're like proud of ourselves in a deep way where somebody doesn't need to tell us anything about it. Like it's just like, you're like taking good poop. It doesn't benefit anyone else but you, but it makes you so proud when you do it.
And it makes
Right?
you feel
Like,
good on
it
many
does.
levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just don't want anybody out there to think that like I'm minimalizing your baggage. Believe me, that is not what's going on here. I'm just saying like it's worth investigating what the baggage is and why it's there, and figuring out what you can do with and what you can do without. And if you see something and you know that you need to get rid of it and can't, that's when you ask for help.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when you reach out your hand and say, I've got this ghost that follows me around everywhere I go and I don't know how to get rid of it. Can you help?
That's what I was talking about earlier. Like sometimes things are harder to care for or digest or incorporate, you know, it's challenging.
Yeah.
And
it's hard.
Sometimes people just need like a pat on the back and a hug. Like that's real. I mean, whatever culture we're in, but if you got it like that with somebody, sometimes people just need a freaking hug. Like I know I'd have this week.
Me too. It's always unfolding. It's never going to stop. Who you are, who I am, is a continual work in progress until the day you die. You're not going to ever wake up in the morning and go, I did it.
I cracked the Melanie code.
I'm me now, forever.
Yeah, this is
That's it.
Life is not a video game. You don't get to the end and get the big reward, and it's like, oh, now you get to just smooth sailing until the end.
No,
like,
man.
no, it's always going to be a struggle and self-searching, and
But it's worth it. And you know what I'm coming to discover as I get older is that when you start to get clear in you, then the people that you love can benefit from it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And that's dope.
And don't you think, I mean, like that too, that the more clear you are, the more your attraction is for things that are clearer and of good intention.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, like you attract what you put out type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know what all that was about, but
you wanted to talk about.
Well,
I did.
I love these conversations because it makes us look inside of ourselves. And this was kind of like you said at the beginning, this kind of lit the fire sitting here with Christian and Skylar talking about being yourself and the stuff that he struggled with.
Okay. Thanks for
reminding
me.
Tying
yeah, like the
back.
full circle from the beginning. I mean, that's kind of how this came about, is by the interview we did today, which you all are going to love when you hear it.
Yeah.
Do what you love is my advice for the week. Like, truly do something that you love. If you don't know what that is, explore then. Start with like something you like to eat. Everybody has one thing that they like to eat. But I'm saying this for myself. I just need to do something that I love this week. And so I'm sharing that with all y'all.
And hey, if the thing that you want to do that you love, nobody around you digs doing that thing, do it anyway. Do it for you. Don't do it to please anybody else.
Yeah.
Do it for yourself.
If it's something you truly love and enjoy, and you do it, you're going to attract somebody or something else that is going to lend towards
I'm
that.
going to do something that I love this week.
What?
I'm going to go see the Flaming Lips.
That's exciting.
I'm excited about that.
Me too.
I'm super excited about that. And I'm excited about our other interviewee coming to the studio tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's going to be exciting.
We shouldn't say it.
Not saying it. Hey, everybody, No Simple Road is appearing live at Ophelia's Electric Soapbox in Denver, Colorado on August 30th at 7:30 p.m. with Andy Frasco's World Saving Podcast. No Simple Road is going to have Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters.
Chris Pandolfi
sitting
of
with us.
Inside the Musician's Brain, a wonderful podcast where
On Osiris
he
Media.
digs deep with his guests. So check him out.
And Andy Frasco is going to have comedian Todd Glass and a mystery guest.
Mystery
So tickets are
guest.
still available, and I think there are a few left. If you're going to be in Denver on Wednesday, come hang out with us at Ophelia's. Come have dinner. Watch us do a live podcast and talk about the fish community and all the fun stuff. And follow us on the social media platforms. Go to our website. Get a tarot reading from Mel and I. Buy some No
get
Simple
that
Road
merch.
I got a Jerry design up on our website if you want to go check that out. It's a Thug Life with Jerry design.
I got to say too, I'm so excited about my new shirt.
What shirt?
My
Oh.
No Simple Road shirt, the orange one. I
Oh.
just love my orange, and that orange, it's like so bright. And
I think it's funny, like your orange shirt with your orange Nike shoes.
yeah,
You're funny, dude.
I think
love
that's
it.
dope.
Yeah, no, be you, dude.
it's
Kill it.
Sunshine Daydream. Oh.
Yeah, Patreon.
Well, you know me. That used to not be. I was not quite as colorful in the past.
No,
I love my colors now.
I know you do. You do you, boo. Patreon.com/No Simple Road. That is how you can support us to continue doing what we're doing.
You
And hey,
can-
man, you're missing out on a bunch of content if you're not a Patreon subscriber. I feel sad for you. Yeah, throw us a buck. Throw us a bone. Anything else, anybody?
Oh, well, you can always call that tepid line at 971-808-1524.
That number
And that's-
again is 971-808-1524.
And like we've said, that is the open mic. You're allowed to do whatever you want on there.
Well-
I'm not going to ask for anything or tell you what to do, but it open mic.
Okay. Oh, speaking of that, we have the cliffhanger from last week with John B.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
never played
I
the
never
rest of
played
that.
it. Hang on a second. I'm gonna play it right now. Okay.
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 The last
Okay.
time we went, when we saw Medeski after Fish the other time, so somehow we get the IDs, we have no tickets, we get to the girl who's checking the IDs that checked us out last time. It was kind of being snooty, but I like that, whatever.
John
And
likes
Hunter
snooty.
literally, there's an opening when we get there. He just walks right past the counter into Eggy with no ticket. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I try, and the girl's like, hey, do you have a ticket? And I was like, oh my God, he just walked right in the show. And I was like, no. And she's like, you have to leave.
Aw.
And I was like, damn it, what am I going to do? And then literally, security was bringing this drunk guy out, and then that gave me an opportunity, and the girl turned away, and I ran up the stairs, and I got into Eggy. So, Eggy, I wasn't trying to sneak into your show, bro, but that was like the sickest show I've ever seen for my first Eggy show. You guys rocked it out. That place got so hot. It was the freaking, I don't know, craziest dance party. I haven't danced till 3 a.m. after dancing at a Fish show. So my feet are in pain right now. I need some THC bath salts for a foot bath.
Yeah, you do.
But anyway, that's a future endeavor when I'm hanging out at Rhythms Ground in 2029 for the Sick Festival when we're having bath salt THC foot bath. But
Hell
anyway,
yeah.
that's just a dream I have. So I don't know. Eggy was awesome. Fish was awesome. Life is awesome. The world is awesome. Oh, and one other thing. Last night was kind of cool because it was the 6-year anniversary from the last day I ever drank a beer, which was Baker's Dozen, which also means that was 7 years since I did any dope. So it was kind of a little celebration of like not being dead and being clean and sober and fucking happy because I fucking love life and I'm glad I'm not dead. And I love you guys and sorry I'm getting emotional, but fuck it, I'm not sorry. This is who I am. I'm emotional. I'm fucking alive. I can go home and hug my son and fucking create a fucking awesome world for all of us to fucking live in and party down and dance. And you guys better fucking rock that girl band out because that's just going to be sick. I'm going to fucking learn how to do some CK5 lighting joints, JB9, whatever you want to do it. I'll fucking do it. Anyway. All right. I love all you guys. Apple, I'm sending you a Steam video. Mel, Aaron, you guys are the shit. Peace.
Damn,
What?
John B.
Dang.
I hadn't listened
love
to
you,
that.
dude.
I didn't know
No.
that was him being proud of who he is.
And
Look at that.
after what we just talked about on this rewind,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
to bring it back home of being
Love that.
unapologetically yourself, John.
Wow,
Yeah,
John,
Johnny
thank
B.
you for
Fuck
fucking
yeah.
circling.
You are awesome.
You are awesome, man. You always have a way of closing the circle,
He
man.
is
You
plugged
really
into
are.
the No Simple Road frequency
Yes,
for
you
sure.
are.
For
Yes, you
sure.
are.
And I love that like, I couldn't imagine asking you to leave anywhere, and that lady that asked you to leave, it turned around so quickly.
Well,
and
he
you were in.
didn't have a ticket.
So what? It's John.
just come on
It's
in.
John B. So, yes. Be like, come on in, John.
If I was working the door, of
That's
course
what
I
I'm
would allow
saying.
John B.
Yeah.
in. Yes, okay, I understand.
And he got to be himself, waited for her to turn around. Boom.
Yeah, and then
that
John
show.
in that trench coat right up the.
And I'm sure
the stairs.
Aggie will forgive you.
Hey, everybody, that was Tepid Line 971-808-1524. That's how you do it. David, we got your calls. I'm holding on to them, and we'll be playing them. Don't feel like we're not playing your stuff on purpose. It's just we're at the end of the show, and we'll play it on Monday's episode. We'll be back on Monday with another full episode of No Simple Road. And until then, we would like it if you would take care of each
Friday.
other. Yeah, Friday.
We'll
Sorry.
be back on Friday.
I'm confused.
Yeah, it's
We'll be
okay.
back on Friday.
This is Monday.
Take care of each other. Smile as stranger. Safety third. Hydrate. Who's got our SOs?
And unapologetically be yourself.
That's about it.
Peace.
Like twist and turn, the mission turn, and it's a journey. Wish the word is many problems, but it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth. And alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? Feel no simple road. 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 My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A=A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey, what's up? This is Blake Wyland. I'm the host of the Tone Mob Podcast. It's a show where I interview guitar people about guitar stuff. We talk about their pedals, their amps, their accessories, their preferences, all that stuff, as well as a healthy dose of whatever comes up. Topics have ranged from aliens to addiction and anywhere in between. Oh, yeah, and pizza. We're definitely going to be talking about pizza. So get the show wherever you're listening to this podcast at. Just search The Tone Mob in your search bar, and it will pop right up. Come join us. We're having a lot of fun. Thanks for checking it out.